Are you ready to transform your normal e-commerce business into one that experiences exponential growth year after year using online advertising? If so, this show is for you. Me and my guests will show you how you too can grow your e-commerce business to 7 or even 8 figures so you can go on more luxurious vacations, spoil yourself and your family, say yes to more opportunities, and become financially free so you never have to worry about money again. Welcome to the E-commerce Performance Marketing Show. Hey, how's it going, guys? Josh Marsden here, host of the E-com Performance Marketing Show. So this episode is going to be powerful because in this episode, I'm going to give you tips and feedback off of 3 different brands that I'm going to critique here live when it comes to their sales pages. So if you have an e-commerce business and you don't see a 1 to 3% conversion on your offers that you're driving traffic to from your advertising, or your website isn't converting at 1 to 3%, then you have a conversion problem. And this episode is going to be powerful for you. Now, if you're already in that 1 to 3%, there's still a significant opportunity for you to get up to 8% even. 8% is a conversion rate that many of our clients hit in our agency, CVO Acceleration, and you're going to get some tips in this episode that can help you get to that point by implementing some of the recommendations that I'm about to make by reviewing these 3 brands. So it's super important that when you're using paid traffic, that you drive it to a page that you have control over. See, more times than ever, I find that e-commerce business owners are driving traffic directly to their website. And the problem with an e-commerce site, a typical e-commerce site, has all these different distractions, all these different links, all these different roads basically that people can take. And when that happens, people get fatigued over the possible decisions, and then they bounce or they get confused. And you don't keep them on track towards where you want to take them, because a typical e-commerce website isn't designed to do that. It's designed to be basically like a Walmart online, like a department store online where you're selling a bunch of products and people can just go around and pick and choose what they want. But the thing is that when you're doing marketing, when you're doing direct response marketing, you have to measure and track effectively, and you have to funnel people, and you have to keep people on a specific road. So this way you get the best possible result, because you want them to directly respond to the ad, to the sales page, and purchase the product that you're driving them to from your traffic source, whether it's email, whether it's an ad, etc. So with that said, you might be asking, so what's the point of an e-commerce site, like a typical e-commerce site? Why do I have it? Well, here's the thing. See, having an e-commerce website does breed a sense of familiarity with people, because people are so used to an e-commerce site. And so you have to have one. It builds trust. When people see that your brand has an e-commerce site where you're selling products, they trust you. So you have to have it. Plus, on top of that, after you have acquired the customer, sending them back to your e-commerce site where you're selling multiple products, where they can just go through and walk the aisles and pick and choose what they want, that's fine. You've already acquired them as a customer, so it's totally okay for you to do that if you already have acquired them as a customer. Plus, on top of that, if you're using, say, retargeting ads where you're spending some money to get your customers to go back and spend more, retargeting is cheaper because it's a warm, hot audience versus a cold audience that doesn't know a whole lot about you or anything about you and your brand. And so therefore, it's okay to use retargeting ads because you're going to get the clicks much cheaper than using ads targeting cold traffic. Okay, so it's totally okay for you to use your website to get customers to come back and purchase more. But it's not okay to try to get brand new customers using advertising and using a typical e-commerce site that's just going to confuse the heck out of the visitor, and you're going to lose them, and you're going to reduce your return on ad spend. Now, that said, here's a small caveat to this. Some e-commerce sites do convert really, really well, but it does take a lot of work, especially on the brand side. When you have a brand that people recognize, that people trust, then an e-commerce site can convert very, very well, even with all the links everywhere, and that's fine. We have a client, for example, that makes significant ROAS. Their this year alone, they're above a 600% ROAS, return on ad spend, from their digital ads, and they have an e-commerce site that they drive traffic to. However, they have a very established brand that they've worked hard for using our ARM5 formula, strategy, and process that's built the brand in the eyes of the audience. And so therefore they can get away with it a bit because they have that tenure. But if you have a brand new or newer e-commerce site, e-commerce brand, then you don't have that. You don't have that reputation. You don't have that trust. And so you can't send traffic to a typical e-commerce site. Now on top of that too, you can get conversions by buying Facebook ads and sending traffic to a typical e-commerce site. You can get conversions. You can get maybe some return on your ad spend, but usually it's no more than 200%, if that. So it's not a whole lot. It is good, but then when you factor in cost of goods, cost of operations, return rates, you name it, that 200% return on your ad spend all of a sudden isn't 200%, it's like half of that. And therefore you're really not making any profit, so what's the point? So my point with this episode is to teach you that it is fundamental when it comes to acquiring new customers to do it by using good sales pages and also advertising traffic or any traffic source. Now, we're not going to talk about traffic in today's episode. We're going to talk about the sales page and how important that is and what you can do based off of 3 critiques that I'm about to dive into, what you can do to optimize your sales page conversion rates so this way you can get more new customers and more ROI from your digital advertising. So let's dive in. Okay, so what you see right here is a Detox Organics. Now this is an actual client of ours, and this is a very, very successful multi-7-figure e-commerce business. And this is their homepage. Now we do drive traffic to this page. But this page, you'll notice as we go through it, is really not designed like a typical e-commerce website. We don't have a bunch of products on the site. We're not trying to funnel them to just making a choice on the site. We have one product, 3 options, but one product. And so if anything, this is a really good example of how to turn your typical e-commerce site into a good converting sales page design site where you can then sell your primary product, your flagship product, and you can sell additional products after they have gone through your checkout process, because that's exactly what happens here. Because Detox Organics, they do sell more than just this daily superfoods chocolate detox shake. They have protein, they have all sorts of other products, but they don't lose people by showing it to them up front. They know that this is their flagship offer. They know that we are going to be able to optimize our conversions and our ROI from our advertising by having a sales page for our homepage that's dedicated to funneling people into purchasing our flagship product, and then we can sell them additional product after that. So that's why this is a great sales page to go through. Now, if this was a typical sales page, I would recommend that you don't have this menu at the top. Like, I wouldn't put that there, for example. This is fine because this is basically breeding free will. It's not distracting. It's not driving people off the page. And as you can see here, we have a really good format for showing the product and explaining the product. We have a solid headline right here with staying healthy. We have a sub-headline right below that. And then we have benefits right below that as well, and a buy now button, which is important because it's right above the fold. Like, I didn't have to scroll down to see a buy now button. It's right there. Plus, I also have a testimonial here from a customer, which is huge because that shows proof right away, right after I've landed on the site. And it's even saying here that this is the shake that over 250,000 people use daily. So it's telling me right away as a visitor that this is a product that's popular. A lot of people are using it. So again, more social proof. It's got a great image here on the left as well. Manufactured in the USA, which is important, especially if you're targeting US prospects to get them to try to buy your product. And then new eco-friendly packaging, highlighting that is important as well, because that can actually factor into our targeting as well, because we can target groups of people, say on Facebook, that really care about some of the movements happening right now with protecting the global climate, for example. So that's important to highlight that. Okay, and you scroll down, and then you've got good copy. This is very easy to read. It's also, if you notice, there's not bulky paragraphs. That's a big no-no on sales pages, to have like paragraphs. People don't read paragraphs. Sentence by sentence by sentence structure is best. And you have here a few graphic images that correlate with eliminate toxins, boost energy and mood, destroy inflammation. Those are like the three kind of main motivations for purchasing this product, and these are the motivations, the hooks that we use in messaging to get people to land on this page. Again, we have another buy now button as well. Now here's something super awesome and important. Now, in a lot of cases, a lot of home pages will show, we'll have something like this where it says, we pack 25 health boosting superfoods into every serving, and then see ingredients. Typically, most e-commerce businesses will have that see ingredients button send them to a different page. And it's a big mistake, because especially if you're paying for that traffic. Again, if you're paying for traffic, you want to really have a focused road and path to purchasing. You don't want to lose them in the process. And if you do that, you're going to lose them. So look, check this out. See ingredients, boom. It just shows that section of the page, which is awesome, right? Keeps me on the page, gives me my answer. Great. Okay, moving on. And then it goes straight into testimonials and showing pictures of people using the product, which is awesome, because you want to have a lot of those. You want to have a lot of testimonials on the sales page that you're driving traffic to, because that shows social proof, shows credibility, and it provides a lot of instant trust as well. So same here. Check the label. Again, it's not taking people off this page. It's keeping me on this page, and it's giving me what I want without doing that, which is amazing. And that's something that you should consider doing on your sales page as well. If you have sections or you have typical questions that you answer when people land on your site, but you don't want to lose them from that page, because if you do, there goes that potential customer. We've got a guarantee, which is huge. I stress this with my clients between the ARM5 Formula Accelerator and also our agency, that you want to have a strong guarantee present in your business, on your sales pages, and this is a very, very good guarantee as well. Check out the copy, check out the messaging. And then again, more testimonials, buy now, and then it's also saying there's 276,000 plus detoxers worldwide. So there's a lot of people using this product, which gives me a sense of confidence that this is a great product. I should consider trying this out if I'm a brand new prospect, okay? And then this is great too. So it's giving people options, but either way, they're going to end up a customer by purchasing either option. But this is great, because what if someone wants to just dive in? What if they want more than just one bag? What if they're really ready to commit to detoxing themselves and getting a transformation? Because if they are, they're gonna choose most popular or bulk value, 3 bags or 6 bags. And on top of that, what's great about this section as well is it's also giving people additional bonuses, additional perks by investing more into purchasing Detox Organics. And that's huge, because you want people to purchase the bigger transaction, because that's a bigger transaction size and it's more revenue coming into the business. And that's huge for brand new customers that you're paying for using digital ads. You want to have the most average order value possible, and by providing more than one option, you're going to be able to do that. In addition to having upsells and downsells, which we won't get into, we're just going to focus on sales pages. But this is brilliant, because we have options here that we're driving people to, and we get people that purchase the middle and the right option, which bumps up that average order value instead of just having one bag and that's the only option. And we're throwing in bonuses, as you can see here, with the shaker, with also recipes as well, and we're also giving people a bigger percent off as well if they purchase more. So this is a great example of giving people options that's going to help them, but also help you and help the business, since you'll be able to increase your average order value, which is going to offset your advertising cost for acquiring that customer. And we have more transformations, before and afters. Before and afters are always awesome in every type of business. Doesn't matter if you're selling physical or digital or services, before and afters are brilliant. So definitely try to have some of those on your sales pages as well. And then finally down here, it's reaffirming how the hook of transform your health for just $2 a serving. That's 25 superfoods for the price of a cup of coffee. And then I love this part. Try Detox Organics for 60 days and get your money back if it doesn't work for you. So it's reaffirming that we're taking the risk out of this potential decision that you're making right now. We're putting it on us. And that's brilliant, especially here at the end as well, in the middle of the page, because now I'm at the end of the page. I've reviewed a lot of this content. It's reaffirming that there is no risk. And now I feel like, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to follow through with this. Now there is, of course, you have questions, feel free to email us. It's great. Something that we haven't done just yet, but having like customer chat on here to keep people on the page instead of sending an email would be awesome, because then we can keep people on the page and we can answer their questions over chat and then prompt them to continue the process of checking out. So that would be huge. And then we have frequently asked questions. And again, this is all being presented right here on the page. We're not losing people by sending them to another page on the site. And then finally, here at the end of the page itself, it's showing the options to purchase again. And then we have a opt-in, standard kind of opt-in on the bottom. And then we have a standard footer as well. So this is a really good example of a homepage for an e-commerce site that's actually built like a sales page, a dedicated, isolated sales page in a funnel. And you're not going to see the rest of this funnel, but there's upsells, there's downsells, and that's huge because you want to have those to be able to optimize your average order value. Okay? So this is a great example. Definitely feel free to go through it. Definitely check it out. Feel free to rewind this video a little bit, this episode. So this way you can listen to what's being said here and what's being seen here in the episode. So let's go ahead, let's jump into Auraring, the next e-commerce brand that I'm going to break down and review with you here during this episode. Okay, so now we're looking at Auraring.com. So I happen to have one of these and it's a great product. I love it. I wear it at night. It tells me my sleep score. It gives me feedback every single day. It really helps me be more attentive to how sleep plays a role in my preparation every single day so I could perform my best at work and also at home and also in fitness as well. Now, this is their homepage. What do you think about this homepage? I'll tell you right away. It's very bland. It's very just lots of space that is not being taken advantage of. Detox Organics was a great example of a homepage that had all the things you want above the fold. You want a headline, subheadline, benefits, buy now, testimonial, picture of the product. They should have this, and they don't. And Aura is a very popular, very successful product and brand, but yet this is not that good. This homepage honestly sucks. The buy now button is on the top right. It's not very prominent. It's also not using a color that's different from the rest of the site. Like ideally that should be like a big green kind of button that jumps out, because this whole site is very much black and white, and yet the button is white. So I'll barely notice the button, which is not fundamental when it comes to building a high converting sales page. And then we'll scroll down here. So I'm scrolling down and it's actually now showing like messaging, like harness your potential. Advanced technology monitors your body's pulse, movement, and temperature, delivering a holistic picture of your health. Clear, actionable insights. So, and that copy is okay, but, for one, it should be, again, already there. I shouldn't have to scroll down to get it to pop up above the picture of the actual product. I should see it right here above the fold on screen after I've landed on this page. So let's scroll down further, and now it's showing the app on a typical smartphone. And watch, if I click learn more, it's going to take me off the page, which again is a no-no, because if I know Aura is driving a lot of traffic. I've done research on their traffic strategy, and they're driving a ton of traffic to their homepage. And so they're losing people by having a learn more button that takes people off of this page. And this page just isn't really optimized to get people to purchase. It could be much, much, much better. So this is, again, like not going over the product. It's going over, it's showing like the smartphone. It's showing a few features of the readings, the data that you get back from the Ring. And it has messaging as well. This is okay. It's just the learn more button shouldn't drive people off, but this is fine. But your health interpreted, what the heck does that mean? There should be a much simpler and more beneficial sentence there that really points to one of the benefits of having the Aura Ring instead of your health interpreted. That's just very techy, essentially. And you always have to speak to a kind of third grade level in your messaging to be able to capture as many conversions as possible on your sales pages. So always try to speak in a way that anybody can understand. It's so critical and so important in your messaging that you do that. So let's scroll down further. So go beyond your summaries and learn about all the data Aura monitors. So let's see, go deeper. See, again, takes me right off the page. They've just lost me, more than likely, okay? So again, that's like, a big mistake. They're driving traffic to their homepage. So build your homepage as a sales page to get people to convert right then and there and to buy the product, or at least to chat with you through like a chat to get questions answered. So this way I can make a buying decision, because that's the point of using digital advertising, is you want to see ROI from that digital advertising, and you need to get customers to do that. So scrolling down further, now it's showing the Ring, and it's showing some of the benefits, advanced sensors. But why is that important? Like, why is that important to me? Advanced sensors. They should make it a little bit more tailored, personalized, like the messaging. Like, I'll read this to you. Packed with infrared LEDs, NTC temperature sensors, and accelerometer, and a gyroscope, all wrapped around your finger, the most precise and convenient place to capture body measurements like heart rate, HRV, temperature, steps, and more. Now, that sounds great if I'm a scientist, but what does that mean to me in a beneficial way? How is all those features going to benefit me? And then there's definitely an opportunity to improve messaging. That should be more geared towards the person reading it, and it should talk more about benefits to having all that tech and being able to measure heart rate, HRV, temperature, and steps, and how that's going to impact my life in X, Y, and Z way. Okay. Lightweight and durable. Okay, so again, they're doing the same thing here. Our Ring is made of titanium, so it is durable and lightweight, weighing less than 0.25 ounces. The most comfortable smart ring in the world. So this could be a better as well. I mean, it's not really speaking to me. It's just stating a fact in a way, like the most comfortable smart ring in the world. Why don't we personalize that a little bit? Because a lot of times people, when they're looking for stuff like this, like I actually have someone that I know that I've recommended this to, and she's like, no, because I don't like the color, I don't like how it looks. And, they should really have messaging here that talks about how this is just like any other jewelry that you've bought, and how, it can really increase your status, or how it can, it looks phenomenal on your hand, or you feel like it's not even there, unlike a typical wedding ring. Something along those lines, just to personalize it and just to really speak to the person landing on this page and how this is lightweight and there's benefits to it being lightweight. Here are those benefits. So I can go on and on. There's a few other examples here, but I just want to point out a few different things here. And then scrolling down further, it shows introducing moment, which looks like this is a additional feature in their app that goes back to like helps with meditation and links meditation up to the ring. And if I click on learn more, I guarantee you that it's going to take me off this page, which is again a no-no. And then finally I come down here and I've got, you know, blog articles, and if I click on any of these, it'll take me off the page. And then here we go here, health insights straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today and receive the latest articles, tips, and offers from Aura. Well, it's not terrible. However, it should be much more specific. Like a really good lead magnet is super specific. Like a newsletter isn't a good example. And Detox Organics, they have a newsletter opt-in, which we are fixing and changing, by the way. But you definitely want to have your offers on your site to be super specific. Like a guide, like a report, like a specific club with a few offers built into that, or a few benefits built into that, or a quiz that gives like a result from the quiz that's relevant to the subject matter of your brand. Now, those are just, you know, some examples. This is basically just a sexier sounding newsletter. Okay, so that's Auraring. So now let's go ahead. Let's dive into the next brand that I want to break down with you, so this way you can see what I think about how they are optimizing their sales page and what improvements they can make as well. Okay, so now we're looking at Barkbox. Now Barkbox is a booming business, very successful. If you were to Google Barkbox and success, you would see a bunch of articles on how they have really done very well in a fairly short amount of time, and they've got a great product. Now, I can't say the same about their sales page though, unfortunately. So when we look at their sales page, it's a mess. It's a total mess. So this is their homepage. And, you know, on one thing that I'm just going to go through this a bit. So there's lots of different just ways I can go here. And this isn't built like a typical e-commerce site, because they're really just trying to funnel people into subscribing for a Barkbox every month. But they're not necessarily funneling people to that call to action of getting started. They've got subscribe, they've got sign up, they've got view themes, they've got chat with us now. I mean, you know, they've got all these different ways that I can go, which is gonna lose a typical prospect that lands on the site. So that's, you know, obviously a big mistake. Now, also on top of that, messaging wise, it's not really presented in a clean, organized, concise manner. Like Detox Organics was a really good example that I started this episode off with. You know, when you landed on the page, the message was super clear. It was right there in front of you, headline, subheadline, benefits, and then there's a call to action and there's a picture. And this isn't that. Instead, above the fold, I see all sorts of different confusing messages, and a lot of it has to do with the design. It's not just the copy, it's not just the call to actions being multiple call to actions that can lead me in all sorts of different directions. It's also the design. Like, the design should be simpler, where they're not trying to squeeze a bunch of images and copy and messaging all above the fold. If anything, it should show maybe this picture right here with the dog, meet the 2020 cat free when you join, put that front and center, put a headline maybe right above that, put a call to action below, have like these benefits here, subscribe starting at $22 a box, your first box ships immediately, your month-long dog party begins. Well, that one's not good. They should revise that messaging. But the first two are okay. Subscribe starting at $22 a box, and maybe tie that into a benefit. Your first box ships immediately, and they are tying this to a benefit, free shipping inside the contiguous 48 United States. But you know, they could definitely like restructure this to make it just cleaner and easier for someone to go through and to really understand the value proposition right away, and also take action on the value proposition right away. And having all these other buttons here is just super, you know, confusing. You're gonna lose people when you have a homepage like this in design and also in confusing call to actions as well. And then scrolling down further, so if I click on view themes, I know it's going to take me off. So yep, it's going to take me off. So there we go. Okay, so it's taking me off. Now, if anything, if there's multiple themes, you should just present them. Present them right here on the homepage. Treat your homepage like a sales page, just like Detox Organics. They should show the multiple themes that people can choose from when they subscribe, and then lead them to subscribe with a subscribe call to action. That's what this section really should be. It should be showing the multiple themes that a subscriber has the option to choose after they subscribe. That would be more powerful, and it would keep them on the page, and it would lead to the goal of the page, which is to get me to subscribe. And this, this newsletter opt-in to, this should be, it shouldn't be there. It should be maybe in the footer, that's fine, but it shouldn't be there. Because the job of a sales page is to get them to take the ideal action, not to get them to take the secondary action. It's the ideal primary action, especially when you're paying for ads, driving traffic, and every dollar counts, no matter how small or how big your company is. And then here we go here. So our pack has your back. If your dog isn't 100% happy with their Barkbox, we'll work with you to make it right. No muss, no fuss. No disappointed pups. It's clever copy, I'll give them that. And then chat with us now, and then you've got the chat on the bottom right. I mean, that should be like on the very, 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 very bottom of this page, because if someone scrolls through the entire page, that tells you that they are interested, they're reviewing everything, they are thinking about subscribing, but they're not quite ready. And so if they're not quite ready, that's when you need to present the opportunity for them to chat with you. This way they can get their questions answered, and then they can make a decision. So if anything, that's where this chat with us section should be. It should be at the very, very bottom. And then over 2 million dogs served, testimonials, well, not testimonials, but social proof, basically showing pictures of people's pets and their boxes, which is cool, and that's great. But there isn't a whole lot of substance, like people, like it's just pictures. Like these pictures could be them taking these pictures. Why don't we show like at least the name of the pet, or the name of the owner of the pet, and maybe a quote from the owner of the pet possibly on the service. And then also having more than just 6 images showing social proof. There should be definitely much more than that, especially knowing Barkbox and how successful they are. I'm sure that they have way more than this, but why aren't you using it? So, that's me breaking down this. And then finally, overall, this is a very, very short homepage, short sales page. There's not a whole lot of substance, not a whole lot of content. I mean, there's just not enough here to really, really motivate me as someone that doesn't know anything about Barkbox. There's not a whole lot here to motivate me to want to subscribe. Okay, so that's like definitely some very significant constructive feedback on Barkbox's sales page. Okay. All right, so that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and let's close out this episode, and I hope that you took lots of notes. This way you can implement a lot of the recommendations that you're hearing that I'm giving these 3 brands. So this way you can optimize your sales page and get better sales page performance. All right, so I just went over 3 brands. One of them is a brand that we're very familiar with. The other 2 we're not. And you heard my feedback. And let me just summarize overall my feedback. So this way you can really action this, because e-commerce performance marketing show is all about you taking action, you improving your performance in your e-commerce business. And this is just the first step. The next step is you need to work with me directly and sign up for my ARM5 Formula Accelerator, which you can apply for below. And if you're a good fit, you'll double your business at least over the next 12 months with my help. Now, however, with these sales pages, Detox Organics was the one that was the best. And the reason why is because they treated their homepage on their e-commerce site, they treated it as a sales page. And they're using high converting fundamental sections and messaging and formatting to be able to have a good sales page that converts for their homepage. They're not designing their homepage like a typical e-commerce site. And that is what you should do as well with your e-commerce business, especially once you have had enough data to understand what product is the best product to really show as your flagship product. Now, even if you haven't gotten to that point, let's just say that you have an e-commerce site and you're building out customer acquisition processes and advertising, and you want to start getting customers predictably in your business, and you want to be able to scale your business by doing that. That's the first step. It's one of the key systems of the ARM5 formula is customer acquisition. Well, you should have a sales page that's not on your website, but similar in design to Detox Organics, with headlines, subheadline, picture of the product, benefits, testimonial, social proof, call to action. That all should be above the fold. So design your sales page to be that way. So this way, when you pay for advertising traffic and they land on your sales page to review the offer that enticed them in the beginning when they clicked on that ad, they're right there and they're getting the messaging. The messaging is consistent with the ad. It's also communicated very, very clearly. It's communicated at a third grade level. It also speaks to them because of the targeting of your ads. And then on top of that, you're building trust right away with a testimonial. You're also showing the benefits to your product, which ties back to the messaging that got them to that point from the ad itself. And then you're showing the actual product in an image or a video. Okay. And then as you scroll down further, you want to show a lot of social proof, as you saw in Detox Organics example. You also want to go over the benefits of the product, and Detox had 3 different kind of pillars that were their benefits of the product that are the reasons why people buy Detox Organics. And then you want to continue to keep them on the page as well. Like anytime that you want to show additional information on your sales page that isn't necessarily messaging or information that's going to convince them to buy, like ingredients, for example, like on Detox Organics. Like people, when they go buy Detox Organics, they don't necessarily care a whole lot about ingredients, but some people do. And so therefore you do want to have it on the site, on the homepage, but you don't want to lose them by having them click and then go to a separate page on the site. Just reveal a section instead and show the ingredients that way, just like what Detox Organics does. Okay, so always think about that with your sales pages that you're driving traffic to. The goal is to keep them on the page and get them to take the call to action that you want them to take. And so don't send them off that page ever at all. Don't do that, okay? If you want to reveal a section with additional information, fine, do that, that's fine, but keep them on the page, okay? And then finally, scrolling down further, you've got your FAQs, you've got your risk-free guarantee, which you should absolutely have. This way you're having a risk reversal there and they don't feel that there's a risk to trying and buying your product. And then you also have, contact us, because someone might have questions right there on the page, especially towards the end of the page after they've reviewed and they're still on the page, so they're interested, but they still have questions that they would like answered. And so therefore you want to give them an opportunity to ask those questions right at the end of the page as well. So those are just some immediate action items that you could implement into your sales page that you're really focusing on getting to a point where it acquires new customers consistently, predictably, and also at break even or better from your advertising. And then your upsells and your downsells and your follow-up processes after you've acquired the customer can monetize them further and maximize customer lifetime value, which will make you more ROI and return on ad spend from your advertising. Okay, so take action, implement those recommendations that I just made, and feel free to go back through this episode and to take some notes and study what we just went over. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, no matter where you're seeing this at. And also on top of that, if you want help scaling your business to 7-8 figures as fast as possible with minimal risk and less wasted time and money, then go ahead and click below to apply for my ARM5 Formula Accelerator. I am taking clients right now. However, in the near future, I won't be. So click on the link below, submit an application, see if you qualify. I'd love to help you, and then I can help you implement the 9 key systems so this way you can maximize your growth from your business by maximizing return on advertising by implementing the 9 key systems that are part of the RM5 formula. Thank you again for watching this episode. I appreciate it. Be sure to like or subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you for tuning into the e-commerce performance marketing show. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment with a timestamp of your favorite part and share it with a friend. Until our next episode, here's to you and the success of your e-commerce business.